This is the face of a very happy man moments before he's caught by Argentinian security. I'm filming the purchase of yerba, which is the leaves used to make mate, to do a review. So I made quite the scene outside the store after being recognized by fans, and security thought I was, in their words, here to make a political display. What a mess to begin such a harmless video of what mate is. So I'm a bit of a seasoned veteran as far as an Australian can be along the mate road. So that's me, the Australian traveling the length of the Americas in a tuk-tuk with my adopted dog. It's a very slow method of transport which allows me to get to know the cultures of the countries I'm in. Here in Argentina, I've gotten hooked on mate, which is a hot, caffeinated leafy beverage sipped through a filtered straw. This video may be a bit jumpy as all my unseen footage of my mate passion comes out as I break down what it is, how it's shared, along with trying other Argentinian cultural favorites. There's a lot of customs of the mate that I'm going to get into that just create the culture around mate. So if there's any Argentinians watching, please give me tips about asado, and please let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong regarding the mate, because I love to learn and love to just do this culture justice. We just pulled up at the Chango Bus and we got everyone coming in and checking it out, which is pretty cool. Ciao, ciao. Just check this out. This is all yerba mate para, like the leaves that you put in the mate cup. This right here was the first yerba that I ever tried with my mate, but that was like a wild introduction. So it's like $4 for half a kilo, and of La Tranquera, this is the second yerba I ever tried. You can get a kilo for like pretty much the same price. So like, this is kind of how it ranges, right? They've made an edition that's like smooth and then an extra smooth edition, right? So that word suave and extra suave, like smooth, extra smooth, and normal. I've tried a few different yerbas and I know what they're about. I just like, you come to one of these places where they've got like almost everything. Of course, the like smaller companies aren't in here, but yeah, just wild. You just buy like the plashidito. By the bag, by the kilo.
Dale Lucas, estoy acá, Brian se llama, el chico, como te había explicado por el tema del canal.
Gracias, amigos. That was wild. Yeah, just like trying to record the shadows, and they were really nice about it. They were like, you should have just asked us first, but nonetheless, like we're here, so no, they're good guys. And I was just explaining like, yeah, I'm traveling your country and I'm drinking mate every day. I just want to show English speakers what mate is and explain that a little bit. When the policeman came over to me, he had his phone open with my profile on his phone. Security was explaining to the director, saying, this is what this guy's doing. But at first they thought I was name shaming political parties because it's currently the day of like the election today. Wild. And then if you see the word yerbas, that means it has like herbs additionally added to the yerba, so it gives it a different flavor. And then this here, CBC, is like the biggest brand for varying yerbas dentro de yerba. I'm like speaking in two languages. And then you've got like an apple flavor, another type of herb, like lemon, orange, and like a different type of lemon. And then you've got this other flavor. This is like the wackiest yerba I've ever tried before, but I didn't know until like I was halfway through like trying the mate, where she was like, oh, I don't know how you're gonna feel about this one because it's got herbs, but herbs specifically to help with digestion. And I was like, that's whack, no wonder. So that's what that is. Cacha mate is doing that. Even plashidito for tereré. Mate is usually with like hot water, although plashidito tereré is for if you're drinking the yerba, the leaves, with either ice cold water or sometimes even orange juice as well. It's mostly in the region of Paraguay where they do that because it's just a hotter area, and also the north of Argentina during the summer. A lot of tereré is being like drank as well. You also have what they call mate cocido, which is like the different brands of yerba. They put it in a little tea bag and you can have just like one portion rather than making an entire whole mate to do that. So that's quite a popular option as well from like cafes and even like hotels and restaurants, and even for people to be able to like have a mate of a day without bringing like the entire like thermos and your like yerba bag and your mate and your bombilla, which is the straw. So for the very first yerba review that we're gonna do, we're gonna try La Mañanita. So we're gonna give that bad boy a bit of a go. Time to take this and get out of here.
Fuiste comunicando el problema de una buena manera, me aprecio mucho.
Claro.
Gracias,
Dale,
gracias,
dale.
gracias.
Dale bien.
Chao, chao.
Crotch cam, baby. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Salir por esta salida.
Claro,
Perfecto.
para que no te metas por allá porque es peligroso.
Entiendo, gracias, gracias,
No.
gracias.
¿Qué tal? No, está bien porque yo quería ver a otro.
Sí, ¿quieres una foto? ¿Quieres una foto, amigo? Buenísimo. Sos un buen seguridad, amigo. Chao. Chao. See you later, Chengo Mas.
So yeah, we're at the Jota store, or Jota. I've not like come across one of these before, and this is the first time in like a big city in Argentina, really. So yeah, Patty's checking it out. She's having a good time. But they've got their own brand of mate, which is really cool. They're labeled like calabaza is the when it's like the pumpkin skin, so you can cure it. Which is like a process of like leaving the yerba in the mate for about 24 hours, and then after that you can drink it safely, and it holds the flavor over time. So essentially, if you have like a mate de calabaza, which is like the pumpkin mate, for about 6 months, this flavor of the mate only gets better, which is really cool. So yeah, this is like, it's got the most expensive brand of like, or the best quality brand as well of Thermos, and then the best quality, that's my favorite, yerba above, but it's become really expensive since I was last in Argentina, unfortunately. But it's made from, it's made with more polvo, like more, there's more dust in it, which gives it a stronger, more bitter taste, which is really nice. I'm a fan of that style of yerba. So yeah, these are all of like the pumpkin skin, which is really cool. And you've just got different forms and different shapes. These are all like genuine leather, gourd mates as well. So, hey, relax, Pati. And just like really nice bombillas as well, and quality straws, which have the filter to not suck up any of the yerba. I don't know how to explain that. The tea leaves, I guess, but I've been told already I can't call it tea. So again, yeah, you've got like the ability to clean that a lot better with it being aluminium, but then also their branding, the leather, which is really cool, so you can get it personalized. That's a beautiful mate. And then like, yeah, the best quality bags you can get as well. It's almost an art form, the drinking of mate, and there's so many rules that you need to like essentially follow to appreciate the culture of the mate. Wow, that's a beautiful mate. For when Argentina won the World Cup. Champions of the world, 2022. Qué bien. So in love with mate culture. Paddy did really well.
Out of that. I'm out here in the lawn chair of lawn chairs. It's like 5 stars back here. Ready for the road trip.
What a day, what a day. We are in Mendoza, Argentina still. Currently, muy domingo, very Sunday. Another day, another week's gone past, another productive week of editing. Waiting for Patty's vaccinations to become effective so we can finally cross to Chile. But with it being muy domingo, we've got the hostel to ourselves and we're just gonna be cooking up a huge Argentinian barbecue and be doing a lot of Argentinian customs on such a day to just chill out, recoup from the week that's been, and prepare for the week that's coming. We've got some logs cooking up, getting some coals stoked so that we can get our Argentinian barbecue going as soon as we get back. Yeah, so we left the flame going a bit too long, unattended. We've got some logs that have rolled off. But we are starting to get some good coals. It is my first time doing this all, so I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going with everything that I remembered from literally last Sunday when I did a silo with these guys. Tori's looking amazing as always though. And we got the dogs. Hola Pancho. Hola Vera. Hola Vera. Hola Vera. Hola Pancho. Y Tinto. Yeah, it's a beautiful little hostel here that we're staying at. It's just so good to be in a real comfortable spot. The dogs don't all get along too well, so I'm gonna bring Patty out in a bit. But yeah, it's these guys' home, so that's why she's pretty territorial, they're pretty territorial. And I've never really seen Patty play well with a German Shepherd, and these guys have got two of them. So it is what it is, but they're all just resting, especially Pancho, the golden retriever. Pancho means like hot dog in Spanish, which is really cool. I've kind of moved in, that's my little box of goods, so finally the day that we get to try the mañanita that we bought. So you can see there that kettles in Argentina, they've got a little mate cup at the 80 degrees mark, which is more or less like the perfect temperature. So you really only see that on the kettles of this region. I think it's just really cool. I like it personally about 85, 90, but yeah, the usual is just 80 to not burn the yerba leaves that you've got going. Yeah, we've got everything ready. We'll put the dogs away, so we're gonna go get Patty, let her out. She loves the freedom. Hola, vamos Patty, vamos. Gorgeous Sunday this has turned out to be. I'm just waiting for there to be proper coals before we start putting it under the parrilla, the grill. And here's what we got going. Finally time to try mañanita. We've got, for after that, a bit of fernet branca and Coke. It's the most Argentinian spirit that probably exists. Yeah, so it's like the closest thing to it would be Jägermeister, so I brought a bottle of that. Usually we just have Coke when we're eating asado, or we did anyway last week, but today, yeah, just gonna, yeah, live that Argentinian dream. We've got a bit of beef and a bit of pig. And yeah, finishing off with some alfajores dulce de leche. So it's like a condensed milk caramel filling between like two sweet cookies. And yeah, so there used to be 6, but now there's 2. Basically what I've done so far is I've just put all the coals under. I think I'd like to have a bit of a better stockpile than what I've got of coals currently, as these are now like on a timer. They're essentially cooling down. They never clean the grill when they're done, but they clean the grill before they start. So that's kind of what we're doing. And it's hot, eh? Yeah, so we're just gonna get the big slab of beef. That's a thick boy, so it's gonna need a minute, you know. Look at that, that's huge. All right, slap that down. And we got salt, but it's important that it's like the big granules, you know. And you just don't hold back with the salt. Apparently, you just slap as much as you can, as much as you want. Put on the other side. Both sides need the salt. You got your salted bit of meat, and yeah, I guess we're going for it. Why am I nervous? I think we're just gonna salt the ham in as well. Salt the pig. It's a little bit fatty on this side, but we're gonna have to make do. This will cook pretty quick, I reckon.
We've got less of a volume of coals going on this side. We've got a lot of coals out. We've actually got more than I thought. So we're gonna condense them a little bit. Big bit of beef, huge bit of pig. Look at that gorgeousness. All right, we'll give that a bit of time. In the meantime, I'm just gonna make up the first mate of the day, finally, surely, right? I've been drinking mate for about almost 3 years now, coming on 3 years, and we've never tried mañanita, so today is the day. What we've got is a mate. We've got a calabaza mate, a bombilla, which is the straw, the bombilla, and the yerba, which is the leaves. This is a really popular drink that is consumed on a daily basis in almost all of Argentina, a lot in Paraguay, South Brazil, and Uruguay as well. It's a caffeinated drink. Argentinians kind of go all out. They drink it at all times of the day. Doesn't matter if it's evening, first thing of the day. It's quite a social drink, which I really love. You share it amongst friends. You drink from the same mate cup, and you put the leaves in, the hot water in. You kind of just make it up, and then you drink it first. The person that's making it has to drink it first to see if it's too hot, to then warn the other person. There's a lot of customs of the mate that I'm going to get into. Usually with the cleaning process, you'd clean the leaves out, you'd rinse it out with a bit of hot water. Argentinians sometimes just like to leave it on a table countertop, sitting with the bombilla, preferably outside of the mate. But personally, I just like to, I never know what I'm gonna exactly have it, and because I'm always on the road, I don't have that option to just leave it out somewhere. Leaving it in the sun's not the greatest idea because it can get too dry. And with me having mates on like a daily basis, I just ensure that there's no mold buildup. Even though there's a bit of green in there currently, that bit of green is completely normal. Yerba leaves are obviously green as well. And with me just taking such good care of it from the day I bought it, I kind of just treat it like a religious cultural activity. I just have so much respect for what it means to Argentina. But basically with the yerba itself, having that green tint around is completely normal, especially if you yourself know that you haven't left like yerba leaves that have after a mate session sitting in your mate for like over a week. That could be bad news. For me personally, I like to just clean the leaves out, rinse it out with a bit of hot water. I get 3 squares of paper towel, 3 exactly, no more no less, roll it up into a cone, put it down in the middle, and I put the bombilla upside down so the drinking end is down, leaving the little hole filter end. This is how the bombilla looks, so that you don't suck up any leaves itself, and these little slits aren't big enough to let any yerba leaves in. I just sit it upside down inside the paper towel so the paper towel doesn't go anywhere, and that way it's just ready for the next day. Usually having a mate or 2 every day, so it's ready for the next use. It won't be bone dry, which is good, but it won't be like really just moist and soaked still, which is what you kind of want. Anyway, without further ado, how's the meat looking? See, now that we're cooking it up, you got the fat dripping down, and we're cooking it a bit faster. We've got a bit more of a hotter ring of coals, still a ring around that ham. I don't even know if it's necessary to put a ring around it, but I've just seen, well, that's a decent amount of fat. That's what we're gonna do. And we've got the beef coming along nicely as well. So we're gonna, yeah, come on, we gotta get a bit of mate in us. We're gonna talk through the process of trying mañanita. So I've just opened it for the first time, and yeah, packaging looks pretty solid. It is made in Argentina. This is the half kilo bag. It costs currently about 70 cents, 70 US cents. So that's a bargain. That's like what the mainstream yerbas cost, and you're gonna pretty much find this brand of yerba in a lot of Argentinian households. I've just never come across one where I've been in the same spot where we're drinking together. I'm going to put the yerba mate up to about 70%. 70% is usually the way to go. Different shaped mates, you got different levels that you kind of need to fill it to. Yerba mate does expand as well, so overfilling it's a bad idea, although it does look good on Instagram. So that's kind of how we're looking. I do 3 shakes, so I just get the palm of my hand, We've got the asado flavor mixing in with it. So that's one shake, and you got it on your hand, and I just usually chuck it away. So you're getting all the polvo, which is the dust, the yerba dust out of it. Completely clean. It's just something that you do a custom. That's 2. And we go one more for good luck. And on the last one, you leave the mate on an angle like so, and when you lift your hand, you got a nice little inclination there, right? Perfection. Perfection. So you want to position it so it's as easy as possible for you to chuck the hot water in from the termo, and you just want to put it exactly where you've put that inclination. Always without the straw first, without the bombilla, sin la bombilla, viste? And that's about how much you want to do. You want to put it so, usually when I'm drinking it, personally I'd put in a little bit more, but on the first, you just get your bombilla. I blow it out. Usually mine sometimes has a bit of paper towel that's stuck in from the day before when you're cleaning it. And what you want to do is you got to understand how the shape of your mate works. So you got to put the bombilla in from an angle and kind of gently coast the side of your mate, knowing that there's a bit of curvature at the bottom of mine. I put it in like that. And as soon as you put it into the bottom, then you start to like lift, and you get a nice, decent angle of your mate going. Now, because the leaves are just soaking up that water, all that water you put in from the start won't be there currently if I was to take a sip. So I usually just like to put in a little bit more, just like that. Not too much. We're not making a swimming pool, but I do like to freaking have a drink when it's my turn to have a mate. Usually if you're drinking with like 6 other people, sometimes you might be waiting 15 minutes for it to come back around to your turn. You're like, man, I'm getting a thirst coming on. So that's pretty much perfect. You've got this dry section of leaves that still hold flavor, so that as you get to your 4th, 5th cup of mate, you still got flavor coming from that dry patch of leaves. And that's really important, because you don't want to drink all the flavor in the first 3-4 goes, and then for you get to your 6th mate and you're drinking water through a straw at this point. Pate, hey, vamos, come close. Esa. Man, I'm proud of her, eh? Just look at her doing a mate review. Hey, close, Pati, come. Esa. She's good, eh? We've been together 5 months, and she wasn't treat driven when we first started teaching her commands and stuff. It was all just giving her lots of love, and you just say, good Pati, see, good Pati, good Pati, good Pati, good come, yeah. Here's the first one of Mañanita. What a day, what a day. All right. So we did have the water sitting in there like a little bit. So that first sip, that gets you going, you know? That really starts you off on the day with, right, this is what we're doing. This is how we're beginning the day. Start strong, finish strong. You got a productive day ahead of you. Yeah, important custom is when you're drinking mate, especially when you're getting to like, when there's not too much water at the bottom, not to just make like really prolific drinking sounds. It's kind of like I'm a foreigner drinking amongst their culture. How can I make it as enjoyable for them to not be like a burden on their mate experience? Now when you've just finished your first cup, I made the mate so I would prepare the second mate and I'd give it to the second person. The second person would then usually drink it and then they'd hand it back. It's important that when you hand it to them, the bombilla is facing them, and when they hand it back, they're not gonna say anything. The custom isn't to say gracias every time that you've like received it. It's kind of just like, this is what we're doing. I've just made your mate, boom. Here's the bombilla in your direction.
Acá, amigo.
Thank you.
No pasa nada.
They receive it, they don't say anything, and then when they pass it back, they don't say anything. If they're passing it back and they're saying gracias, as an Argentinian, when they're saying that, they're usually meaning, hey, that's enough. Estoy verde, tengo verde. I don't know what the phrase is, like, I'm green, I'm good, I don't want any more. So if they're passing it back to you and they're saying thank you, they're usually done. But at the same time, it's like when you're making it the next round, it's sometimes like I'll sometimes say, hey, I'm done, I'm good. And then when they're making it, all right, we'll have one more. So here's what we're gonna do. When you're also receiving a mate, you just don't touch it. You don't touch the bombilla ever. You just grab it, you sip it, you only let your lips touch the bombilla, never with your hand, never stir it like it's a thick shake. That's criminal. You're gonna get the custom of that driven into you if you try to do that, especially in a group of Argentinians. Obviously, if you're like a foreigner, it's your first time, so they're just gonna have a joke around. But that's a big one, right? Never touch the bombilla unless you're the person making it, because when there's the water in it to stir up the dry leaves with the wet leaves, you're gonna reduce the flavor profile. So this is what you do. You just finish your first mate, grab tips of your fingers with the straw. This is maybe too in depth, right? But this is what you want to do. You just want to create a little space. You push the dry leaves into that section that is the dry section of the mate, and that way you've got the flavor profile still. I got to check on this meat. Come here. How we looking, Ham? Vuelta. Okay. Okay. This is the hotter section, and this is the thicker part of the pig. It might be better to leave that section there. I don't know really what I'm doing. So we've used all the coals, so it's like if we don't cook it with the amount of coals that we got going, we're kind of screwed. Let's see a bit of juice coming out. That's a good sign. Hey yo! Hey. All right. It looks like it's coming along. Paddy, what do you think? What do you think? We got it going. So we've got to keep that dry, and we're just going to put another bit of liquid, like we've got the inclination going, but it's not perfect, obviously. Dorma for mate number 2. Slowly, you go slowly with it, right? Maybe a little bit more. Oi. That's almost perfect, maybe slightly too much. Personally, with me, I'd go that amount of water every time if I'm drinking alone. But if you're drinking with like an Argentinian, you hand them that, they might call it a swimming pool, they might not. But as well, it's like you're getting pretty particular, and with the up and coming Argentinians just going half a packet of sugar or nothing in each yerba mate, it's like, yeah, right. So sometimes 4th, 5th mate, Argentinians will chuck a few more leaves in, and maybe 4th, 5th mate as well. They might do a bit more sugar. If you've started the first one with sugar, you're not putting sugar in every one. You start off with a decent amount of sugar, and then by the 5th cup, if it's like losing its sweetness that you like, you might put a little bit more sugar in and then put the water on top. But this is mate number 2. That's a nice yerba. It's neutral. It's not so bitter, but it's still it's a good one. I can get amongst this. Yeah, not too strong, but the water, like I've been chatting, like I usually just put the water in, drink it straight away. So I let the water sit, mull around for a little bit, and it's good. It's a decently priced yerba, and it goes pretty good, and you can find it in almost everywhere in Argentina, which is great. If you've got like a go-to mate, you want it to be obviously accessible and for a decent price. So again, same process as before. We're just gonna clear that out, push the dry section to the side. Personally, 5th, 6th mate, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just pouring the water more so over the dry section. It's gonna be a swimming pool. It's gonna be a leveled out form of yerba. But personally, that's how I enjoy mate, and I'm like, I want to get all the flavor out of the leaves as possible. So having it aesthetically pleasing when I'm drinking by myself doesn't make any sense. But first 3, 4, I'm always doing that movement. So after I've done that, just gonna get the water again and pour it over slowly. You see how my hand is healing up from that dog bite that we got North Argentina? Funny. Okay, that's perfect. I think that's perfect. That's what you want. So 3rd mate, here we go. We're getting into it. I haven't let that sit too much, right? I just put the water in and I'm having a go at it. And still it's like,
a really nice flavor profile. No, we're enjoying it. It's like one of these a day and you're doing well for yourself. You're pleased, you're happy, you're starting the day right, starting it well. Decent Shadowbow as well, decent price. It's like, what can go wrong? 70 cents for half a kilo of mate. And you'll make about like 15 mates from a bag at least, I reckon. 10 to 20. Depends on like how big your mate is. Obviously, if it's sharing amongst a bunch of people, some mates exist that are that big, and it's just you have a couple goes at it, and then you just chuck it away. That's for like seasoned drinkers that are maybe having 6 mate sessions a day. I like a 2-person mate, I guess is what you could call this, and I usually go 2-person mates a day. So I'm consuming a decent amount. When I first started drinking mate, the caffeine was really getting to me. I was getting shakes and stuff, and when I went off mate for a week, I had withdrawals. So I've gone through it all. If you, like Argentinians that tell you there's no caffeine in it, that's a lie. If you have like 6-7 cups of mate, it's about the equivalent, not probably, I've looked into this, right? It's like the equivalent of a double shot espresso coffee. So 7 or 8 of these, it's the same as having a coffee. So when I was not drinking any caffeine and I was living with an Argentinian back in Australia, and we were going, that's how I kind of learned Spanish. And we were having 3-4 mate sessions a day, and I've gone from no caffeine to that. I was getting the shakes. I broke his heart almost when I was telling him, hey, I'm just gonna lay off this stuff for a little while. I'm gonna pour that in and I'm gonna let that sit for a sec. Slight swimming pool, but that's how I preferably like to drink the mate. What do we got? La Mañanita Yerba de Corrientes here in Argentina. I think I'm going 8.1 on that. That's just it's a nice brew, easy to drink it with a bunch of people. It's not like one of those yerbas that are like coming out of Uruguay or Brazil that are technically usually more strong and bitter, where someone that's like, hey, I like mate, I do prefer a bit of sugar, but if you're having it without sugar, fine, I'll have it with you. If you bring this out, they're gonna be like, cool, we're drinking mate. But if you bring out something from Brazil, they might look at you funny, like, hey man, that's all you. I might have 1 or 2 cups, but that's a you thing. So having just a real social yerba in your back pocket, in your mate bag, that's one of the good things about this. That's a way to go. Yeah, nah, that's a mate. 8-1. Anything in the 8s, that's good. That's a good score. It's like, if you're having an 8 out of 10 mate, that's an affordable price on a daily basis. It's like, you're living the dream. And I think usually you'd have a higher temperature coals going for this meat, because okay, baby. Oh, look at us. Look at us. Oh, look at that. Patty, what do you think? Mate, that's a good, yeah. You're licking your lips, eh? You know, eh? You know, I couldn't be in any better spot. This is just, you know, like this resets you. You're like, okay, this is Sunday. I can feel it, because look at what we're doing. Look at what we're consuming. We're just having a bit of meat. Usually it'd be a day off from filming, but yeah, no, this is just enjoyable. This is the best thing about it. I can share with you guys what I'm doing. It doesn't feel like work. It's not straining or stressful. It's like, this is me. This is what we're doing. We're living, and we're having the best time, man. Oh shoot. All right, so we're just gonna be cutting in firstly to this bit of ham. See how we're looking. Mate, she's coming along. That's almost done. That's almost done. How are we looking with the steak? Still juicy, right? Can you guys see how like almost perfectly medium rare that is?
Or is that still mooing? Are we mooing still? I don't have a clue. Bit longer, eh? Oh, frick, a glass. Perdón, Vera. Perdón, Pancho. My rectangular little golden retriever. So when you're doing fernet, you kind of want to find the biggest glass there is and chuck your little concoction in that. That could do. This is going to be the go. What do you think, Pancho? That's good? Yo, fresh iced Dunskies. What do you think, Patty? She's checking out some other dogs that are living across the road that she gets along well with. So if she goes over there, it's fine. But yeah. All right, here we go. Fernet Branca. Fernet and Coke. How we looking? I've heard people call it medicine if you drink it straight, but I don't personally agree completely. But yeah, just having a nice mix of having it with Coke, it's just a perfect combination. Sabor original, viste? A bottle of Fernet. How much is this? This is it's like a 750 ml bottle. That was $4. I calculated the math off the receipt, all up, like what you're seeing today, alfajores, everything, $13 completely for like the Coke, the whole bottle of alcohol, the meat, the yerba mate, everything, 13 bucks. It's just, that's a dream, hey? When I drink a sip of Fernet, I think of Argentina, and that holds a special place in my heart. I've never like had any bad times around Fernet. It's always been good times, you know. So anyway, cheers to what we got going on. Cheers for supporting Patty and I and just watching our vids, and appreciating what we're doing, because yeah, no, it's a good time, living the tuk-tuk dream. And yeah, to just have the camera out when I'm doing my thing on a Asado Sunday, it just means a lot for you guys. Yeah, just be witnessing what we're doing in life and cheering us on, whether we're cooking up steaks or we're driving the tuk-tuk in some gnarly situations. So far you guys have been through a lot with us. We've been through a lot with you guys. So we've got a nice combination going. Here's for the next few years of our tuk-tuk adventures with you guys, coming along for the wild ride. What a day, what a day. That's some good stuff. So that's how we're looking. You get the quicker cooking meat on the plates, serve it to everybody, and then you leave like the longer stuff to sit there, cook a little longer, to just stay on the heat as well. You'd sit down, you'd eat with everybody, and it's an important rule similar to the mate. The person that is doing up the asado is the only one that touches the meat and the parrilla. If you want more meat, you can kind of ask, or they usually be already onto it. It's a sign of disrespect apparently if you serve your own meat from the grill. If you're not the one that's cooked it and done all the process. There's also a round of applause that's done for the person that's making the asado. Like, congratulations, and an appreciation applause. So that's pretty cool. I just have a bunch of love for all of it. So here we are. My first asado is looking decent. You can hear that, hey? It's a bit of a fattier cut. Patty might be trying it with me. But here's just a solid bit of meat. We're seeing how we go, right? A bit of ham. That's good. That's all I can say. That tastes like Christmas. And if you know Australia, Christmas in Australia, it's ham, it's pig, man. So, first time vegan cooker, you know what I mean? It's a decent asado. That's perfect. Ryan, you done well. You have done well. Pati, what do you think? You want a bit? Pati. ¿Quieres? Put down. Despacito, despacito. Muy bien. Yeah, muy domingo, che. Muy domingo. It's like, Patty's gonna have a day of eating, so am I. It's just... Pati, sit. Good sip. Good sip. There you go, look at that. Hook into it. In the last week of me eating meat, I personally felt better. Like I got more energy. And when I need to be tired, I'm more tired at those tired times. I don't know, man. It's like the whole being vegan was like incredible. And I think for me not being so disciplined, it's an easier way of like going about walking into a store and only being able to pick up and buy like 5 things and then walking out. But like being non-vegan will just open up so many avenues as well. Like I'm not going to be honestly, I felt like a burden when I'd be like invited to people's houses and I'm so difficult to cater for, especially with Latin Americans being so freaking like welcoming. And they just wanna like give, and because of like my values at the time and in the past, it's like being like, oh, I can't accept your hospitality. It can come off as a bit offensive. Like it is what it is. It maybe shouldn't, but it is. It's amazing to be in this in between where when I'm on the road and I'm traveling, I absolutely love it. And then when I'm in a nice place where I've got routine and then I'm editing, I really like, and interacting with you guys with readily available Wi-Fi, I love that as well. Like I couldn't do it without you, is what I'm saying. It's like I couldn't travel so financially free through like the names that I have on my tuk-tuk, all the Patreon subscribers, with the exclusive content, with the people that tune in on a regular basis on the YouTube vids. Like now that YouTube's paying me as well, it's like, it's just incredible. I just didn't think I'd get to it so quick. I appreciate how many people have gotten on board from such an early stage in this adventure, which is like, that's the incredible part. But we haven't even tried the steak yet. Let's have a cut of that, eh? What do we reckon? What do we think? What do we think of that? Patty, you're into it, eh? I'm the most keen for this little cut, right? This is decent. Well cooked. It was a thick slab. It took a while to get here, but we got here. Oh yeah. One bit. Sip. There you go. Despacito. Good go. That's good, man. What a combo. Bit of beef, bit of pig. I didn't really want to film too much last weekend, try and meet for the first time just with all the like the family that were at the table, and I didn't want to be that guy, you know, like filming and like YouTubing and everything. I know that's a huge part of the culture that you guys probably like haven't really seen or been exposed to so much, but just out of respect, I didn't want to impose that, even though they were really cool with like the camera being around, and it was a good time with sit, Pati, sit. Good sit. There you go. She's still getting the hang of that. But so I didn't film so much, but this is cooler where I got the place to myself and yeah, be able to pour a drink and sit down on a Sunday, eat a bit of meat. So yeah, we're gonna call it there. Gonna finish off this gorgeous plate of meat with Patty. I won't comment on the alfajores because I know what they taste like. It's just like you don't expect them to be that good, but they are, and it's like, well, that's incredible. So yeah, muy domingo. Thanks for all the support from Tori, Patty, and I on Asado Sunday. What a day, what a day.